Hi everyone, welcome back to part 2 with Simon Says Stamp August Card Kit. I wanted to split up the video because I usually don't like to have my videos too long, so I made this into 2 parts, and we'll get started with the very first card that I made. This one I used pattern paper from the kit, and I just basically cut that in half at a diagonal. Very, very simple card that I'm starting off with here. I'm just going to make this sort of a Valentine's Day card because I felt like the pattern paper lended to that quite a bit. And so I pulled out some Candied Apple Oxide ink, and I am going to cover that, but then make sure I dry it because I'm going to do some heat embossing with this stamp from the kit. You plus me equals awesome. So I am going to emboss that with Versamark sticky ink and then the powder that came with the kit, which is this super uber beautiful glittery silverness. And so I am going to heat set that with my tool. I'm using the Wagner heat tool in case I've never told you that before. I absolutely adore that heat tool. It is amazing. And I popped up this little panel here with some 3M foam mounting tape. And so that's just to give it a little bit of dimension. I'm going to put the entire panel on my card base using some really strong score tape. So I'm placing that down, and then my final touch for the card was Ranger enamel dots in black. I like them. I think I would really like the Crystal Nouveau in black because I really like the texture of the Nouveau drops, but these work too. So I'm going to use what I have for now. I'm sort of on this budget diet right now, so although I want all the things, I have to be very careful about what I purchase. So wish me luck in that endeavor. Okay, so here we go. I'm moving into my second card, which is a shaker card. I did not do one yet for this card kit, so I was very excited about this. Ignore the circle that's in there because I'm not going to use that pattern paper. But my idea was to inlay this die I have in my stash with the word smile, and you'll see it come together in a little bit. But I'm going to make some of my own glitter cardstock, which you saw me do in the last video, part 1. And I am just going to pour that all over my sticky ink, and I'm going to heat set it from the back because I don't want my glitter to fly all over the place. So you're going to heat set that. It's a little bit better to do it from the back there. Okay, so I have die cut then this word smile from that glitter cardstock that I just made. And now on the back side of my front panel here, I'm going to put some, what is that called? Adhesive. The tape runner, and then my acetate sheet. Okay, my acetate sheet was cut out of a circle that was one size larger than the one that I show here. I'm then going to use some Ranger Multi-Matte Medium Matte, MMM, to put on the back of my smile, and then I'm going to put something heavy on top of it because I want to make sure that it stays in place. I put some 3M foam mounting tape, and then I put some really thin, same size though, as far as thickness goes, of the foam mounting tape that came with the kit from last month around the circle because it was very easy to maneuver. And now I'm just filling that up with some different sequins that I have in my stash, some little stars there. So just trying to make that as pretty as possible. And then I cut out a circle to place on top of that, and that's also pattern paper from the kit. So then I'm going to put that on my card base, and that's pretty much going to call it a day for the shaker card. Very simple shaker card, except on the inside where I put, you are incredible. So smile, you're incredible. And so I thought that was a very cute, encouraging card for somebody. So there's the shaker business. All right, we're moving on to a very, very simple card, and the sentiment that I put on top of the simple card will match perfectly. So I had this stencil in my stash, and I just used some cracked pistachio on top of this already cracked pistachio-like cardstock that came with the kit. I don't know the color off the top of my head. And some of this glitter paint. Now I took it outside, well ventilated because it is spray paint. So I need to get some of that shimmer spray in my life because I don't have any right now. But until then I had this, so I just went outside and used it. It does kind of flake off a little bit though, so that's just something to be wary of. All right, and then the sticker from the kit, there is beauty in simplicity, and so I just kept that super clean and simple. All right, moving on to the next card here. I pulled out this stamp, which is the L-shaped stripes, which I found really challenging. I had no idea what I was going to do with that. I wanted to use it. It was a big old stamp in the stamp set, and it was calling me, but I just didn't know what it was saying. So I had to figure it out, and I just went with it. So I stamped out with cracked pistachio that came with the kit, and I made this 2 L shapes, and then I took the other border stamp that came with it. It almost looks like little arrows, and I stamped that in VersaFine ink and then poured the glitter powder over it and heat set that. And I still was sitting there going, what am I going to do with this card? I still didn't know. I don't even know when it clicked. So I grabbed a Lawn Fawn stitch rectangle, cut out a rectangle, and I figured if I put something different behind it, that will break up that little scene there, if you will. And so I decided to do that, and I put some of that pattern paper with the plus signs all over it. And then the sentiment went perfect with that. So first I'm stamping in Abandoned Coral Oxide ink. Okay, so I'm going to do that 2 or 3 times. I'm going to get a really good impression with that. Then I'm going to offset the stamp just a little bit, and I'm going to stamp over it with Memento Black ink. And I think I do that 2 or 3 times. And so I'm going to do that so that you have this tiny little border behind the words. So it gives it a little bit more interest. You're going to see it in a second. I'll do a little close-up so you could see it better. There you go. And so I thought that was good because there's crosses in there that have abandoned coral in them. So I kind of tied those colors together. I'm using some liquid adhesive to attach this to my card base. All my card bases are either from the kit or Nina 110 pound. And then I have this awesome pearl type drops that I can make. And so I made those all over the card as well. And those really dome up very nicely. So I'll link that below for sure. All right. So that's it for that card. Now this card is going to be, you're not going to see much happening in here because when I craft with the kids around, I am not as good about hitting pause and go when I actually need to. I get very distracted. And so I was all over the place with this card. So essentially, you're going to see the finished product. I'm very sorry about that. So there you go. There's the finished product. And that's what I did with it. I just kind of tied to try to make a little banner, use some baker's twine, and then put one of those stickers there to almost look like a banner that it's holding. And so that was it. It's very simple anyway. But yeah, sorry about that. There it is. Okay, moving on to this funness. I took abandoned coral, I took cracked pistachio, and I wet it. You saw the oxide come alive. I took some Candied XL watercolor paper, and then I'm going to make my own fancy fun background. And so I'm going to heat set that in between because, as you all know by now, when you heat set your oxides, it will lay on top of one another instead of blend together. And so that's exactly what I was going for. So I kept going back with Twisted Citron was the last color, and then I added a little bit more of that cracked pistachio. So I took some stamps out of the stamp set because I wanted to try to use as much as I could in this kit. I'm going to use my anti-static powder tool, and I'm going to stamp out the love word and then a lot of those sentiments underneath. What do they say? See, when I'm doing my voiceover, I can't barely see because my screen is so super little. But you'll see it in the finish. But basically, love that we're friends, love everything you do. And so that was just going to be another thinking about you card for a friend. So I took my Delicata Gold ink, and this ink really is very pretty. I've heard recommendations about it, but it's a bright gold. And so I thought that was going to be an interesting color to add to the top of this panel because it's not something I would normally think of. So I thought with the little hearts that came in the kit, I added those. I added some spare fun foam I had laying around with some tape runner, and then put that on the charcoal color cardstock that came with the kit. And there you see the sentiment. The last one is for everything you do. So that is it, my friends. That's the final cards in my, actually came out with 12 cards in this set. And so I hope you enjoyed them. Please join me back again for the next video that I do that will be in the coming days. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to find me on other forums linked below. I hope you all have a fantastic week. Take care. Bye-bye.